You're tuned into Soul Fusion Cafe, your place for radiant wellness and soul-forward living. Join your host, Jess Juntunen, quantum healer, intuitive, and midwife to the awakening spirit, as we dive into quantum tools, wisdom teachings, and integrated healing pathways for transformation. You can live a life of freedom to be without limitation. Cozy up, grab your tea, and enjoy this hour of expansion, wisdom, and love. Namaste and welcome to Soul Fusion Cafe. I am your host, Jess Juntunen, and it is a pleasure to be with you once again for another installment of all things soul-forward living and self-ascension. And today we are talking about June energies, June 2020, as well as igniting our dreams and manifesting and tapping into our intuitive knowing, how to really be in the truth of who we are during times that can seem extremely chaotic because there's a lot going on in the world, right? But how do we stay in our still center and realize that, wow, we can manifest miracles, we can manifest so much in our lives right now and support the upliftment of the entire planet. So we'll be diving into a conversation about how to really stay in our truth, how to manifest from there, and how to really just really be ourselves and usher in this new era that is here that we are co-creating together. So thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. I was off last week and I had a replay of the radio show or podcast, wherever you're listening to this, because I moved and it was so crazy and so much was happening, and I was still working with clients and things that I just didn't feel like I was able to give this show the due diligence. So I'm glad to be back, and I am very glad to be in a new home, because for 12 years I lived in an apartment with my two boys. They grew up in there. They were maybe 3 and 4 when we moved in, and now they're teenagers. And I always wanted to be in a house and give them that opportunity and gift. And there was a lot of benefits to our apartment. It was a great place for us in many ways. However, I just knew that we needed this new nourishing space, and really it was a journey because I had to remove some blocks in order to call it in, and now it's here. So I'm so excited because I know it's helping to nourish and help me flourish into the next stages of my personal evolution and the service that I am bringing forward in the world to everybody that I touch, directly or indirectly. This is supporting me. And that's huge, because when we are supported, we are able to give so much more to others. We must be able to receive so that we may give, and we must be supported and nourished. And that means, more than in physical ways, but in every way, the people we spend time with, the foods we eat, the thoughts we think, the energies we expose ourselves to. So many things nourish us and support us. So really feeling into, where are some areas you could give yourself support, and what are some areas that maybe aren't so supportive, that maybe you're ready to release. Your miracles are waiting, and saying yes to ourselves and surrendering over what we can't control, the aspects that hold us back, we're able to flourish evermore. So June is here. This podcast is also a radio program that premieres on Oneness Talk Radio, if that's where you're listening to it, on Sunday nights at 4 p.m. Pacific time. It is also at the YouTube channel for Oneness Talk Radio, as well as at my archives at selfascensionstudios.com. and it's amazing. And I'm hoping to really start spreading this in syndication to other areas. But there's a lot happening. I've been pre-announcing, warming up for a while, saying that Soul Fusion Cafe will be having somewhat of a facelift. It's still in the works and happening. It will be similar, but there will be more guests, and I have had a lot of lovely guests on the show, and there will be more sharing and the possibility of going live, which is also very exciting. And, a facelift, a change of name, and it's going to be a little more centered around divine, feminine, rising energy, but very much still the energy of soul-forward living and self-ascension. That is the heart of the work that I do and teach in the world, and it is always guiding me. So I am being guided to kind of recreate some things. So that will be coming, but I'm also just really trying to be in the flow and trust it's all unfolding perfectly. Not to push things. There's enough happening and a lot of things going on. But that is coming, and it's probably coming quite soon. So how are you doing, though? I really want to stop and ask that question. How are you? If you took a breath and brought your hand to your heart for this moment, how are you? And really check in with yourself. How are you? Cultivating awareness is so key. And it's such a huge part of June's energy. And when I talk about, let's talk about June's energies. And when I talk about energies, I get a lot of my information from my teachers and mentors who are the most authentic, pure sources of this information on the planet. I stopped almost completely listening to anybody else's because they have such a direct line to the archangelic realm and realms and multidimensional beings that bring information into them, and they deliver it in such a heart-centered, authentic way. Sri Ramka and Kira, Master Lady Kira Ra, wisdom teacher Sri Ramka, Master Lady Kira Ra, if I can get that right. And their website is shriankira.com. So some of you listening may already enjoy their work and found me because of them, because I have been doing a lot of close work with them. I am a regular host on Soul Mirrors, which is one of the radio programs they produce. That is Master Lady Akira Ra's radio program. I'm a regular co-host on there. We broadcast live. I'm on there once a month, and that's an amazing experience. So you may have seen me there or in other places if you're familiar with that community. And if you're not, that's totally cool. But just so you know, when I'm talking about the energies and what's happening, I'm very tapped into their teachings and what they're bringing forward, as well as my own guidance and connection to multidimensional space. I really enter the quantum field when I come on for these broadcasts and shows, and I am a channel of energy myself, just as you can be a channel of energy. So I'm really tapping in. So just so you know, that's where my sources lie when I'm bringing this information forward, but it's really from the purest, sincerest heart space. So, and if anything that is resonating, that I'm sharing about June energies, please, do check out Shri and Kira, their official YouTube channel, official Shri and Kira. They have so much amazing content there, and all of their radio programs also broadcast there. They're all live. Also at onenesstalkradio.com. and their website, shriankira.com. So they have so very much information. Again, dearest souls and teachers that are truly here living and modeling self-ascension for each and every one of us. So June is big. The energy around this is explosion. And, Kira brought that energy up before we got to June, and I was like, oh boy, a part of me, my breath caught. Your breath might catch when you hear explosion. And it's an explosion of expansionary energy. So everything is expanding. If you are in alignment with the truth of who you are, the more you're in alignment with your truth, the more you're going to expand into the miracles. Your path is going to become clear. Finding your way is going to become, you're just going to know where you are. You're not going to be finding it anymore. You're going to be where you need to be. And the miracles are going to happen. And manifestation, the ability to transcend the chaos of this planet. It's here. It's so ripe. And it really takes awareness, just being really aware of where your energy is. Like when I opened up earlier and said, how are you? Be aware, check in with yourself often. How am I? What am I noticing? And then have no judgment, right? Because judgment always limits us. It stops us. And judgment is really fear with an attitude. Saint Germain. Judgment is fear with an attitude. And just being aware with love around whatever is present for you. And releasing judgment of others. Forgive them, they know not what they do. So in this explosionary energy, every experience is having this up level. There is this explosion of energy. So we see that on the world stage, all around the planet, as I sit and reflect and connect with you before the show, I'm connecting with your energy, whether or not we've ever met in person, and connecting with the world and messages that are coming forward and what needs to be addressed or talked about. I really believe in the portal of positivity that is Oneness Talk Radio's motto, and go to Oneness Talk Radio. If you're catching me somewhere else, check out other shows there. There's all kinds of beautiful messages, and the essence there is the portal of positivity. And I really do believe in living that way. My own teachers have modeled that for me, that the focus really needs to be on the good, the positive, what's happening in the world. There are many people out there that sell through fear, and I believe that love's the remedy, and I want to spread the love. So I don't like to go deeply into what's wrong. And there's actual reasons for that. One is there's this planetary thought body that contains all the energies of our planet. All the thoughts, emotions, every being is off-putting, is going out into that planetary thought body. So, all the anger, pain, outrage, grief, sadness, fear, all of that is going into that thought body, and it is rich. And there are energies, interference energies, that like to feed off of that. So they would love for you to keep being in that energy, because there's interference that loves that energy. But it's not anything, to be scared of. Interference energy, it just is. But I believe in putting into that planetary thought body as much peace and love as I can. And once we're aware enough, of our spiritual nature, which if you're listening to this, you have an awareness of that, or you probably turned me off already. It's like we have a responsibility to take care of our energy field and put out into the world more peace, more love, more real joy. That is your birthright. And in times like these, there's a lot going on in the world. It's very chaotic. It can even seem like bad to be positive. Toxic positivity gets thrown around a lot. I'm not talking about like a spiritual bypass when I talk about being positive and having love. I'm talking about a real way of living. Yeah, we can just, sometimes there's just like a lot of memes out there and positivity talk that just glosses over the deeper feelings and things we're experiencing, and that can be toxic. Yeah, to just tell people to get over their grief or just be happy. That's not the answer. But there's this sense of like, if you're happy and you show it, you shouldn't be because things are so bad. You might feel that way from others, and that's just simply not true, because you're supporting the planet by being in that energy, by being in the love, by being in the positive, by manifesting your dreams. And manifestation is something my teachers have talked a lot about lately too. It's more than just wishful thinking and more than affirmations. It is living the truth of who we are all the time, as much as possible. And if we catch ourselves going into chaos and going into the feelings that are less than peace, love, or joy, bringing in that loving awareness and non-judgment to bring ourselves back around full circle. It allows us to acknowledge our feelings. You can't help it. You have these feelings. Let me, share that I've had to work through my own. It's kind of amazing as I'm talking, you heard me clear my throat a few times, and I didn't want to just like pause and edit it out because I'm in the flow. But lots of throat chakra energy opening up. Can you be the truth of your being without fear and enjoy? The throat is our chakra that allows us to express the truth of who we are in the world, not just in words, but being it. So congestions in the throat, like I keep picking up as I'm connecting with everyone, bring your hand to your throat and just really just gently touch your fingers there. Become aware, hold love around it. The high heart above the heart into the throat. Hold both those hands there. It is safe to be me. It is safe to express myself in this world. I express my gifts freely. Thank you for taking that moment with me, because it just would not stop calling me to address, and just keep your hands there as much as you like. And that is so much the energy now. Can you be yourself? Because when you're aligned with your true nature, things happen rapidly. Right now is an expansionary time. 2020 is expansionary. So much is happening. And when I talk about lifting and being in that positive space, it doesn't mean to not acknowledge grief. And that can be stuck in the throat too. Unexpressed grief has been stuffed down. And as we see the country ignited in many ways, people are feeling that. It's time for things to come out and come forward. So everything's expressing at every level of awareness. Those that are deeply steeped in density, which is the dimension that, our body is in, our emotions are in, our mind. The people that are really steeped in that and unaware, continuing to clear, that are unaware of their true nature, they're experiencing their expansionary experience as they need to. And, we've all had to evolve through that moment, where our world cracked open, and everybody deals with that in different ways. Some will go deeper into density, dig their heels into what their limited belief structures are, find others that will align with them. Partners in pain. Archangel Zadkiel calls that being partners in pain. that you find someone else that aligns with you and your belief structures, and you can commiserate together. Or you go into the pain that other people are feeling. And believe me, I'm an empathic, intuitive being, and I've had to work my whole life on this one. When I see and hear about, or just feel it, I don't even have to see or hear about it, because I feel it happening, and then later if I see what it was, I'll be like, that's what I was feeling. Does not mean I don't go there and feel the pain in the world. And it can be a big challenge. A lot of people do ask me this one, Jess, how do I not be angry? How do I not be in fear? The answer is literally to not be those things. It's to love those aspects of ourselves and to honor them and to be with them and see what they are informing us about. See what we can learn from them, through them. If we don't, they continue and persist within us until they expand and explode again. So I'm never advocating for just putting a Band-Aid over anything. That's not the kind of work that I do. The wound is where the light enters. A Rumi quote for you. The wound is where the light enters. We must allow the light to expose the wound. So what are we seeing too right now? That many of our collective wounds are being exposed and the light is coming in. We have, so much is going on. We're going through this virusing experience. There's upheaval, riots, protests against the injustices that have been happening to people in America and around the globe. Discrimination has been happening for a long time in human history. And a lot of us are saying enough. And that's wonderful. And energies like anger, that creates action. That is a momentum energy. And it's something that we all do need to touch on and experience at a time. And things like grief and feeling the sadness and allowing ourselves to feel the grief. It's important to go through those stages. You can't really shortcut grief. And anger is a step in grief too. So the thing is to not stay there and wallow in it. You can, but you don't need to. And it's okay to address those. And if it's sticky and it's hard, check out a discovery session with me. It's free, no strings attached. See if you enjoy working with me, or find a healer, counselor, mentor, coach, somebody that can support you. We all need that. I still need that. We all need that kind of support at times, all the time. So honoring all those difficult feelings, allowing them their say in space, but then not staying there. Because if we're just going to go into anger, if we're going to go into blame and judgment, that is a big energy right now. We're putting that into the planetary thought body and increasing it. Even if we don't like what we are seeing and we're judging and angry, and we're putting that out there, we're amplifying what we don't like seeing. So we really do get the cart in front of the horse here a lot of the time. It's like inverted, and we've learned it this way for so long. So be gentle with yourself. The essence of, changing the world starts within us. It's an inside job. And from our inner world, we affect the outer. So if we do the inner work on healing our own wounds and our own reactions and things that are taking us out of our peace, love, that take us out of our center, if we do that work, then we're helping many others heal just because we're modeling it. We don't even have to like be a healer or say anything. We just have to be it, and it affects and impacts other people. What you need to do, if you want to see the change, you don't have to, but what you need to do if you want to see the world differently is create what you want to see outside, inside of you, and it will show up in the outer world. And the cool thing is that energy has so much more power, love and peace, healing. It has so much power. You standing in the truth of your being holds the portal open for 100,000 more to do the same. Another Archangel Zadkiel quote. But it's true. When you stand in your awakened presence, you are holding the door open for so many others to do the same. So June is an opportunity to do that. The third eye has been opened with the full moon, and this energy is continuing all the way to the new moon. The third eye is open. If we want to be open. And the fifth dimension is here. So we talked about explosion, all these energies and manifestation that's possible. And the fifth dimension is here. Now you might have heard of this before or not. We are three-dimensional. Our body is three-dimensional. But there are these other dimensions. That's where our intuition lives. That's where wisdom lives. That's where our access to miracles is. Manifestation. When we have those knowings, that's connecting to our multidimensional self. And the fifth dimension is open. And that is where miracles really can happen fast. That's why things are happening so fast for people. I'm hearing about so much growth and miracles and magic from people. Send them to me. Let me know too. I love hearing about it. It's been profound. And this month, more than ever, fifth dimension is here and anchored. Now, what is the fifth dimension? Give us the gift, and what's the energy like? It's all about compassion. When we can lift out of just our humanness, and our humanness is beautiful. We're here in a form for a reason. This planet can be amazingly fun for a spirit in form. Isn't it amazing? We can interact, touch, feel, sense. The planet is beautiful. And yet we forgot when we were born. We come through a veil of forgetfulness. And it's a journey of remembrance. And all beings are going there. You know, whether it's this lifetime or not, that they do. And all beings are playing their part. Some beings have to play the part of the shake up and wake up. Some beings have to play the part of the bad guy. You know, so that others may wake up. And I don't say that glibly. You know, like, oh, whatever, that's how it is. I mean, that's what happens. And that's why things are as they are here, because we're being shaken up and waken up. The opportunity is there for it, if we choose it. And anybody might wake up at any moment. I've seen so many just spontaneous walk-ins lately, where they just woke up one day and understood they had a higher self and higher dimensions of their own being. It's profound. Profound. So the fifth dimension is all about compassion. When we can lift and hold our beautiful body of form. Thank our body of form. So even now you can just imagine yourself, if you close your eyes and bring your hand to your heart and breathe and connect there for a moment. The heart is the gateway to opening up your multidimensional expression and expansion. Your intuition, your manifestation. And imagine yourself lifting and gazing down at your beautiful body of form, noticing how you are the form, but you are not the form. This form is the temple. You are this ascended being, and notice the love and compassion you feel for yourself. Everything this beautiful being has gone through in this lifetime. Everything this being has experienced. gazing with love and compassion and witnessing. From this perspective, notice it's like you're on top of a mountain or a cloud. You're gazing down at yourself, your own life, and everything that's connected to you. As you gaze at everything, see and feel the love. All beings are doing the best they can given their state of consciousness, their tools and resources in that moment. Feel the compassion for all. That's different than being in pain with others and contributing to the planetary thought body. Notice that planetary thought body. Hold it with love. Notice how it softens and dissolves with your love. Being in the fifth dimension matters. Doing your work matters. Healing and clearing matters. You matter. You're making a huge difference. And awareness is the gateway. Just being aware of ourselves and our thoughts and who we are and what we're doing at any given moment without judgment is that gateway to that compassion. And I'm definitely feeling that energy of the Ascended Master Yeshua, Jesus, the Essene, a golden energy of compassion and love that's being rebirthed on the planet, Christ consciousness, forgiveness, compassion, love with yourself and others. This is everything you do matters. I don't know how to even underscore it right now. It's like everything we were doing was preparation for this moment. And wherever you are in your own journey, I bet you have felt that since 2020 kicked off and things started to get a little crazy. Yeah, there's some shock and emotions and feelings to work through, but there's that knowing that said, this is my moment. This is what you came here for, to bring your gifts forward, to help usher in this new era of compassion and love that is birthing through us on this planet right now. And if you catch yourself judging how that looks, smile, love yourself. It's beyond the mind's comprehension. It really is. Sometimes it can feel lonely because you can't have these discussions maybe with your friends or family, Some maybe it depends, what your friends and family circle is in terms of support and of your growth and understanding. But many of us, we have those family members or friends that wouldn't understand what we were talking about right now, this conversation we're having. And that's okay. But, really love them. But realizing, as you shift and grow, you may find that you start gravitating towards other beings and teachings and friends and spirit family that can really support you in healing what you need to heal and in understanding you and sharing in the gifts together. That's a big part of our growth sometimes, is letting go. It's not like people are gone from our life, but there's a letting go that happens often as we grow spiritually. So our intuition, some of this conversation is about our intuition and accessing that. And if you're tuning into this now, even if you feel like you're late, I'm doing a 21-day sadhana for intuition and connection. A sadhana is a spiritual practice. If you already have a spiritual practice or you want to reignite yours, this 21 days, we're connecting deeply with our wisdom, and intuition is the theme. But your practice is your practice. But each day I send out an email with inspiration and connection, and once a week we get together for a sharing and ceremony for the 21 days. But even if you feel like you're late, we started, but you could start and get the materials and start your sadhana and get everything we've done so far. So if that appeals to you at all, that's at selfascensionstudios.com, selfascensionstudios.com, under the online events tab, or just send me an email, drop me a line. You can still totally get into that. Intuition is, we've been touching on that already this episode, our inner knowing. It's beyond our five senses. It is the connection to the fifth dimension. That's where we're able to access this wisdom that's beyond our mind. And it's always there. We all have it. We all have our own intuitive gifts. For some, it may be through clairvoyance, like sight, right? Seeing auras or energies or sparkles out of the corners of your eyes, or maybe it's images that come to you like snapshots, kind of like mental snapshots almost, but they just come to you. Those are different ways that people can be clairvoyant. Everybody has the ability to be clairvoyant, and that's the way that people are most familiar with intuitive senses. But there's also many other ways to receive information. Clairsentience is to feel it. Many people are feelers, and that's my primary strength, is that I could feel things in my body. They register in my body. Truth chills when someone speaks a truth, like goosebumps. Watering eyes or tearing up when I hear a soul truth. Feeling it in my gut when something is off. Things that manifest in our body as sensations that are felt in the body, but they're beyond the body. They're like a knowing, right? And the body just registers it. That's clairsentience. Claircognizance is just knowing. Just having a knowing that something's going to happen. Like one example would be you think about a person and then they call you, even if you haven't talked to that person in like years, or you run into them somewhere and you're like, I was just thinking about that person, because you're working in that multidimensional space where you're already connecting, but then it happens in the physical space and you're, whoa, how'd that happen? That's one example. Claircognizance is an interesting one to work with if it's one of your strengths, because you're like, oh, if I was clairvoyant, I could say I see it. It would seem like I had more quote-unquote proof. How do I just know it's a knowing? I mean, it really is about cultivating our trust. It's all about cultivating our trust with ourselves. As I'm talking, like a little baby dragonfly just landed on the window. That's so sweet. Connection. This is the year of the dragonfly. Connection. So perfect. And let's see, there's clairaudio. What am I getting it wrong? Clairaudience. When you hear. I might have got that incorrect as I'm like sitting here feeling all the energy. I'm almost just swirling in it. That's when you hear things. Might be a high-pitched tone. It might be almost like a inner voice, or sometimes it's from outer. So those are different ways that, and you might have a certain strength in one or two of those areas, but everyone has all of them. And as you work with your intuition and your gifts, you usually expand the other areas. When I first started this, I wanted to see so badly. And when it comes from our ego, the desire, it's like a frustration energy happens and we push away what we want, so we won't see. It's so tricky, all of this, because if you want it, I mean, it has to come from your soul. If it's coming from the need to have proof or evidence, that's from the ego. And the ego likes to control things, and it actually pushes away the connection we actually really desire. So it's a fun game. It's a do-si-do. Trust me, everyone goes through this, and I still do at stages. And it's a practice, so hand to heart is what I always teach. Bring a hand to your heart and breathe. Do this often during your days. It's the foundation. It might seem like a basic if you've been doing this a while, then approach it with beginner's mind, because it's a foundation. Hand to heart. Breathe. Connect. Hand to heart. Breathe. Connect. You will be more attuned to the frequency of your truth, your soul, and activate your upper chakras by doing that. And June is a very good month for connecting with our heart. And that does lift us up through that truth center, through the throat. That area that wants to clear so much. Be who you are. What are the dreams that you have had that you've put on hold? You know, as a child, we're often so much more connected to our intuition. We just know what we like and like what we do. And think about yourself as a child. What did you love doing? How can you get into that flow again and that connection? And when we do, we manifest. You know, the abundance, the people, the connections, the support. It all starts showing up. I mean, I know I'm living proof of that, and I know many other people that are as well. It really is truly your time. It is your time to shine. It is your time to connect. It is your time to trust yourself. Trust the information coming through. Trust where you're being guided. And it's a practice to quiet the mind, the ego that's so tied to our personality, our past experiences. They serve us, but they have gotten the idea they're in charge. There's a lot of that running around the planet right now, so it's really easy to forget and go into that state of being where you're just being driven by the ego. But awareness, the key. When you can catch it, smile. Don't judge, smile. And imagine you're tucking that ego lovingly into the back seat, telling your mind, thank you for working so hard, but I've got this. And you know, they soften and learn to trust you ever more. They soften and don't speak up as much. But when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, they get very loud. They will get very loud and try to stop you in every way possible. Everything is expanding. So anything that's showing up for you that's uncomfortable, that is of the ego, that's fear or anything else, approaching it as, what do you have to teach me? What do you have to show me? What do I have left, that I want to heal in regards to this? Be curious. Use it as a way of exploration. And that will bring you through the moment and bring so much more awareness and so much more gifts. You will be dancing with joy through it all. So this has been a lot of information this hour, and I'm feeling the call to bring this into a close. And I just want to offer a deep bow of gratitude and love for you. Continue reaching for your dreams. Continue to expand and grow and be the gift of who you are. I'm going to leave the end of this with a beautiful meditation that I hope you enjoy. Do not listen if you are driving or operating heavy machinery. You can always come back and check it out at onenesstalkradio.com in the archives of Soul Fusion Cafe, or at selfascensionstudios.com in the archives there as well. And as I leave this and let you just continue, bring your hand to your heart, breathe, and say thank you to yourself. Thank you for being here now. It is my time. It is safe to be me. It is safe to thrive. I deserve because I was born. I trust myself. I tell myself the truth. You are expanding. Everything is perfect and in divine order. You are a multidimensional being expressing in this beautiful form. Continue to smile and dance and be with these energies. And enjoy this beautiful meditation. Hello and welcome to this moment at this time, which is the perfect time for this little exercise or meditation. Inviting you to find a space where you feel comfortable, either seated or lying down, and simply begin to connect with your breath. bringing a hand to your heart and feeling the energy of your breath. Noticing it, just becoming aware with each inhalation, the sensations as the breath passes in through your nostrils, as it fills your lungs. As you exhale, following the breath in and out, and begin cycling the breath up into the top of the crown, down into the stomach and belly, inhaling the lower lungs, the middle, and the upper, and then exhaling. So it becomes this beautiful wave, inhaling up into the crown of the head, sending the inhalation down into the base of the lungs and filling the lungs from the lower, middle to upper, and exhaling. And finding this rhythm and this wave of flow of the breath. Beautiful. Connecting with your heart and just feeling slowly, allowing it to unfold as you put your hand on your heart, or if it's already there. Just noticing the energy you feel emanating from your heart center, approaching it slowly and curiously, softly. And with each breath, just going a little deeper and feeling a little more into the heart. And noticing how it's activating and expanding. And you become more aware and sink more deeply into this heart-centered space. Feeling a melt. Feeling yourself connect. And as you connect to your heart, noticing this beautiful lift that is happening. Feeling the crown of your head opening. And noticing above the top of your head, maybe with your inner eye, there's this beautiful, brilliant ball of white light. And it is radiating and shining down into the top of your head. It's like a funnel of beautiful, brilliant white light, love, wisdom pouring into your crown. And it's pouring, it's like almost like a white crystalline honey. It's sticky and it's filling up your head, and then it drips down and it coats the throat, drips down into the heart and just coats the heart center. And it travels all the way down into the base of the pelvis. And it overflows the pelvis and drips down the legs into the feet. And it is coating all of your energy centers. It is coating all of the cells. Everything is being immersed in this beautiful crystalline, gel-like experience. And it's traveling to any areas in the body that might be calling out for extra support. The mind, the emotions, anything connected energetically. It's just traveling through your whole body. And you're feeling this now like a crystalline lightness that's coming in, and your being is getting lighter and lighter as you lift. Feeling yourself connecting with that brilliant ball of light above. And notice at this moment that you are lifting. Your being, your essence is lifting and gazing down and witnessing your beautiful form. It's like you're simultaneously aware that you are not the form, while you are the form, and you are cradling the body of form and loving her and the experiences that have brought her to this moment right now, seeing it from this lifted perspective of the fifth dimension. There's a compassion and a love energy in this space as you just gaze down lovingly at yourself, acknowledging that you are the form while you are not the form at the same time, and seeing everything that has brought you to this moment with eyes of love and compassion. And then breathing, it's like you experience yourself lifting again. And now you're in this beautiful 7th dimensional energy of witnessing that 5th dimensional aspect of yourself who is cradling the 3rd dimension, the body of form. And this 7th dimension feels very pure and very crystalline. There is no judgment. It isn't all that is. It is a wisdom. It is a connection to the divine, to the universe, to wisdom. And just gazing with love at that compassionate 5th dimensional self, holding the experience of the 3rd. And you're just feeling completely at peace and ease and with love and gratitude. And knowing you can anchor into this energy at any time. You can lift easily into the 5th dimension and hold compassion for yourself and others. And if you choose, you can lift into the 7th and just hold that non-judgment and clarity. You're now just bringing and integrating all of these energies into your body and being now. Feeling yourself in your form, feeling your beautiful body, and you're carrying the wisdom and seeds of knowing that you are much more than this body, carrying this divine, authentic, true nature forward into the rest of your day. Feeling a smile come to your face as you take a few more breaths and just let yourself float and be for as long as you need to integrate. Namaste, and have a beautiful moment and a beautiful day. Much love, many blessings. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you really enjoyed that meditation. I trust it expanded you into the love that you are, into your multidimensional expression evermore. Again, if you enjoyed this or are curious about working with me, check out selfascensionstudios.com. Drop me a line, say hello. Head over to Facebook at selfascensionstudios.com or Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, as well as Instagram, Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, and Joy Love Jess. Until I have the pleasure of being with you again, have a beautiful, radiant day. Keep thriving and keep shining. Namaste and many blessings. You've been listening to Soul Fusion Cafe with Jess Juntunen. Connect with Jess and learn more at her inspiration hub, selfascensionstudios.com, and over on Instagram at JoyLoveJess and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, or over at Facebook at Self Ascension Studios and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Namaste and many blessings. I'm Jess Juntunen, and you're tuned into Oneness Talk Radio. One world, one voice. Expand your vision.